Good evening, Andrew. Good evening, David. Good, you? Yeah, good. Glad to hear it. Have a good week? Yeah? Yeah, yeah. No, it's a mess down there, unfortunately. And of course, I mean, their mess becomes our mess eventually.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, I see we are on YouTube as well, which is great. And tonight I'm going to be talking just a little bit, just about some small facts about drones, if anybody's interested or thinking about doing anything with drones. But yeah, we'll see. Anyway, let's see. Is there anything else that we're going to be talking about? Just what you guys bring to the table. Hopefully that. Do you have any images, Andrew, that you can share with us from your trip?
Uh, I might have a couple. I mean, I've still been going through them. I took like almost like 3,000 photos on the whole trip. So this is the problem with digital photography.
Why aren't you shooting like you're shooting film, right?
I know, I know. I did a lot of shooting from our car, so I was doing a lot of like high speed shooting and making
Yeah.
sure I got the shot. So,
Okay.
but
Well, that's fair enough. Yeah. As a matter of fact, in today's class at Mohawk, I was talking about with the DSLRs, the burst mode, right?
yeah,
And of course, when students first discover the burst mode, that's all they shoot.
it's ridiculous.
They- I think, I think they just like the sound of it. So anyway, yeah. Let's see, what do we have tonight? Well, the one thing that I do have tonight, I see that there's only the two of you here. If you're on YouTube, let me know who you are and where you're from. Uh, I'm always anxious to see who's here on YouTube. And let's see. Yeah. Now, mid-April, April the 15th, I believe it is, I've got yeah, Brian Thompson coming in, and he's going to be coming in with his train photography. He has done a lot of train photography. He started off with model trains to begin with, and then he went into the full size versions. And he's traveled through Canada and the United States taking photographs of a variety of antique trains, as well as some modern ones. And then I think he took some photographs of trains that do snow plowing, which are quite interesting. So anyway, I'm looking forward to Brian's dissertation on that. And let's see. Uh, and we are going to have somebody talking about black and white films who has a business here that they're actually doing processing in black and white. I haven't got a date for him yet, but we will have one. And then Chris Atkins, I talked to him, and he's really busy taking documentaries right now. So he's going to be coming back and talking about that shoot for the German U-boat off the coast of Newfoundland. So that'll be good when we get it scheduled. And I also talked to Terry Gilman, and she's going to be putting together a presentation for us. It's going to be some of her travels, I believe. Her and her husband traveled around the world for a couple of years, I think. Okay,
Nice.
so yeah, that'll be good. So that's about it. And as far as upcoming, and if you guys have anything that you'd like to pull together for a bit of a presentation, I always rely on the people that, of course, attend here. So let's see, who do we have here? Lisa Marie. Uh, okay, joining from YouTube tonight. Well, Thank you very much for joining, and thank you for letting us know that you're here. And um, let's see. Yeah, you're always welcome. YouTube or Zoom. Of course, in Zoom you can share some dialogue. But anyway, that's something. Let's see. Who else do we have here? Okay, got three people watching there. And we are a little bit short on characters from our Zoom. So there's only two of us, three of us tonight, Andrew, David, and myself. So we'll pull some together now. Andrew, where were you down in the States?
So I was first in like Vegas, so
Yeah,
did the classic Vegas stuff, you know,
yeah,
and then went from Vegas to a place called Page, which is pretty much on the border of like Utah and Arizona. So I was flip-flopping back and forth through the state line, and the time zones kept changing on me, and it was just like a mess. But while we were in Page, we did the Antelope Canyon tour. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
no,
It's like it's a super famous spot in Page. A lot of like the Mac window screens have been taken there, the Windows stuff. So all the backdrops.
yeah,
Anything
okay,
that has to do with like a canyon pretty much was a lot of it was taken within those like lower Antelope Canyon tours.
yeah,
And then we drove from Page to Phoenix. So we stopped in like Flagstaff, Arizona, Sedona, and then went to Phoenix.
okay. Well,
So
it
a
sounds like a fantastic trip.
ton of sightseeing and yeah. So
Do you have any images from the canyon by any chance?
yeah, I think so. And then I also have we went to this place called Horseshoe Bend.
Okay,
So I should have a couple photos from that too.
all right, so we can have a look at those tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, yeah.
I'll get them ready.
All right, and Andrew, do you have a camera?
Uh like
Yeah,
on me right now?
on
Yeah,
the
I
computer.
can show I
Okay,
can show
thanks.
my face
All right, when we're ready
when
to
it
go.
yeah.
All right, so I'm just going to assign you here so that we've got you going. And I'm going to assign you to guest three. You're going to be guest number three. Not that there's anybody ahead of you, but just the way it's going to work out tonight. Guest three. Yep, gotcha. Okay. Anyway, tonight, what I was going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about my little hobby here, and that's my drone. This particular drone, it's got a nice little camera on the front. It's got some sensors to the front here as well. I've got my training wheels on. That's this cage. Uh, More experienced flyers will fly without a cage. Not that it makes much difference as far as I can see. It just protects my blades in here from hitting something, and to a certain degree, it also protects my fingers from hitting or being hit by the blades. I did have one incident when I first got it, and I picked it up by the cage, and my finger got in there somehow. And these blades are extremely sharp, and it put two slices into my finger. So you have to be very, very careful with those blades when you're handling the drone. And some people actually handle it like this, and you can have it take off out of your hand, and you can actually have it land on your hand. That's something I haven't really done or tried yet, but it's not too bad to do that. So this has a front mounted camera, and I just wanted to show you that the battery compartment is at the very back here. All right, and you just open up this door, and the battery, which is about that size, decent sized battery, and not that it gives you a lot of flying time, but enough to take some pictures and do some videos, which I have done. So just goes in there, close the latch, and that is the entire drone. Now you can get drones that have um, sensors. This one has a uh, downward sensor. This one doesn't have uh, collision avoidance sensors. In other words, that if you're going through an area where there might be branches across the trail or something like that, there are drones that will avoid those things and move. This one doesn't. So, but it has downward sensors so that it knows where to land, and um, if it gets close to the ground, it lands and shuts off. So that's my puppy. And of course, the controller comes with it, and I can't. Well, I mean, I can show you the controller, but really the controller holds my iPhone, and on that iPhone, I see what the drone sees, so that I know what I'm looking at when I'm shooting or taking a video. And of course, some of the more sophisticated drones, you can buy the visors for it, so that you're looking at the whole thing through a visor. And I find that comments from other people find that they get disoriented with that and get a little bit of vertigo, because if the drone is flying around, you think you are too. So there might be a little bit of vertigo involved. Anyway, just to get on with things here, I'm just going to um, talk about drones just for a second and some of the things that control drones. Now, I don't know, David, you don't fly a drone. Andrew, I don't think you fly a
But
drone, do
yeah,
you? You
No,
do?
I
Okay.
don't have a drone.
I've
No,
got one. I've got the DJI
you
4.
do. Okay.
Yeah,
So do you fly it much?
not as much as I should, but
Yeah.
I, I'm blaming the winter at the moment. But once the summer
Hmm.
comes, then I'll be out doing it
Yeah.
more. But the problem is, when I got it, I opened it up and started it, and it told me straight away I was in a restricted area because the flight path is right above me.
Yeah.
So that's a good start.
Yeah.
So
No
I have to
kidding,
go
eh?
out. Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is, I'll talk about that in a minute anyway, but I have a flight. I'm on the flight path for the Brantford Airport, and when I first got the drone, I couldn't take off with it, right?
Mm,
But it was a simple solve, because I simply have to go to this website and say that I'm going to be flying a drone, and here's the purpose of my flight. I could have said anything. I just said building inspection or hobby, and they gave me a number. I punched that number into the program on the drone, and I was able to fly.
mm,
Um,
mm.
Whereas in Hamilton, I found that it was interesting there, because when I was out in the country, I was in the flight path of the Hamilton airport, and there I actually had to get a certificate from the airport.
Wow.
They had to give me
Yeah.
a clearance to fly, and I think that's because they're different kind of aircraft. They're commercial aircraft, whereas the Brantford Airport is sports aircraft. So anyway, but here's the interesting thing: is that I moved my position by about 100 feet, 200 feet, and I was able to fly it. So that flight path is pretty restricted as to its boundaries. So once you're out of that boundary, you can fly.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So drones in Ontario, altitude restriction, and they ask you to keep your drone below 122 meters or 400 feet above ground level, and not above sea level, above ground level. And so that's an important restriction that they have for these hobby drones. And you don't need a pilot certificate to fly one of these. Now, I have a friend of mine who was a student of mine who flies drones commercially. So he flies the larger drones, and he had to get his pilot's license. And he said it is like a pilot's license, basically the same thing that a pilot has to take. They have to know all the laws and regulations and everything about flying. And he actually took that test a couple of times, failed it a couple of times, and the third time I think he finally passed it. He said it's not an easy test, so and he actually went took a course, I believe, to learn enough stuff to be able to pass that test. Anyway, for these recreational drones like this one, I don't need a pilot certificate. And these drones, no registration is required because they're under 250 grams. If they're under 250 grams, you don't have to actually register the drone. But if they're over 250 grams, then you have to register your drone um, with, I forget what the authority is, but whoever the authority is in Ontario, you have to register your drone, and that's easy enough to find out. All you have to do is, of course, go to Google, type in drones and registration Ontario, and it will give you a website where you go and you register your drone. Each drone, even this one, has a serial number, and that's how they keep track of them, obviously. And safe operating areas. You should avoid flying in restricted areas near airports or near emergency operations. So if there's a fire or if there's an emergency of some sort, they do not appreciate you flying a drone in or over that area. Uh, that's something to keep in mind. There are some restrictions in parks that they don't like you flying drones, especially if there's an event happening. I think that in most cases, if you are dubious about it, you should find out, get permission, and it's not a big deal. If they feel that you're, seem like a nice person, safe operator, they'll give you permission to fly in certain restricted areas. Okay, what's next here? Oh, okay, visual line of sight. Now I'm just going to go back to the safe operating area because there is a misconception about flying over people's property. You are allowed to fly over people's property. There's no restriction there. So you are allowed to fly over people's property, but you're not allowed to loiter. So you can't just kind of hang out over somebody's backyard, take pictures. That's something to keep in mind. And because one of the interesting things that I found out when I was looking at some of the various rules about drone photography and flying a drone is that the airspace above your property isn't yours. Just like the mineral rights below your property are not yours. So when you buy a property, you don't own the airspace, you don't own the stuff underground that's so you can't go digging for gold or silver or anything else in your own property. That was interesting. Okay, let's see. And of course, they don't appreciate it. People will call the police if you're buzzing them or being a nuisance. I had a neighbor when I was living at a house on Chatham Street. Our neighbor, um, somebody flew a drone and they were like, flying around his backyard. He hit it with a piece of wood and it came down. So, I, that's an expensive drone to lose. Well, any drone is expensive, although they have some real cheap ones these days. But I'm not sure if they have any kind of flying time really with their batteries that are purchased with those. Anyway, so safe operating area. Now, visual line of sight, and that's one of the things that you must always operate your drone within your visual line of sight. And that can be challenging sometimes. I know that I was out at a farm and I was flying the drone, and I was going up quite high. And this little drone, it's easy to lose. I even thought about putting some sort of a um, fluorescent sticker on the bottom so it would be easier to spot or something. I know it has lights, but in the daytime, those lights don't really
Yeah.
matter. At nighttime, yeah, they do. But in the daytime, uh, I've a couple of times I'm looking, where the heck is it? Then I have to look down here and I see the point of view of the drone and I say, well, it's got to be over here. And in fact, then I can spot it. I know that Chris Atkins, who flies commercial drones in his documentaries, and some of his drones are like, they are $25,000. They're huge drones. And he has a spotter go with him with binoculars. And it's not that he can't see what the drone sees. But once you have your pilot's license, I do believe then you don't have to necessarily have line of sight to your drone because these drones can travel much further and then come back. But I think the important thing there is that you have somebody spotting it like he did, only because he says, I don't want to lose that sucker, or run into something because I didn't see it. So he has somebody with binoculars watching the drone while he's flying it. Anyway, the line of sight thing, right?
Oh, lost you. Can't hear you, George. Still can't hear
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I had to
you.
unmute my microphone
Hmm.
from the.
Yeah, I lost my drone. I was flying it um, round the center go to, and suddenly it just disappeared. And it's a really weird feeling because you think you, you just, you can't get any idea where it is. And it was only by
Right.
zooming in on the building that I brought it back. Then I finally found it. But,
Well, the interesting thing is that, and yours is probably the same because all these DJI drones, uh, you can program them to return home. Uh,
hmm,
and it's just a return home button on the controller. But the main thing that is important when you use the return home button, two things. Number one is the elevation. Your elevation for return home should be higher than any objects around,
yeah.
okay? Because
Mhm.
it'll fly into
Yeah.
something. And the other thing is that if you, for example, are mobile and it takes off and then you go somewhere else, when you hit return home, it'll go to where you were, not to where
Yeah.
you are, unless you go into the controller and say, I have changed location, now I'm here, to tell the drone, this is home now,
Yeah.
where you are. So, a couple of interesting things that way. All right. How you doing, Andrew?
Good. Good. I'm just going through what I got for the Antelope Canyons photos.
Okay. Do you want to come on for a second here and tell us a little bit about that, if you don't mind? So
Yeah.
that would be good.
2 seconds.
Time's up. I have to say that. When somebody says, just give me a second. Okay, you got it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always like to have some kind of one-liner returns.
Hmm.
Guess I'm being a smart aleck then, but somebody the other day asked me, "Where are you from?" I said, "My mother. Where are you from?" Okay, hi Andrew. How you doing? Nice to have you
How's it
here.
going? Wait.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
other way. Yeah, I always get confused too. I sort of have to bring my hand in and say, "Okay, I'm going to be pointing that way now, but Andrew's over here." I thought one of these days I'll get somebody to play around with this so that when I put my hand through here, they have fingers coming
Comes
in
out.
on yeah, on the other way. Okay, so what are we going to be looking at, Andrew?
So Antelope Canyon. It is a here I pulled up so a little bit of history on it right here.
Okay, good.
So Antelope Canyon is located near Page, Arizona. It's sacred to so they have native people there. They're called Navajo.
Hmm.
That is um the land that we were on. We were on Navajo land.
Yeah.
So I guess this canyon formed over millions of years of flash flooding and erosion. So like it's almost like Jurassic era of Navajo sandstone. So and then it became like a guided tour place in 1997. as we were going through the tour, she showed us like a bunch of like different spots where um like at the start there was a couple holes drilled into the wall of the canyon, and it's where National Geographic set up a bar for a camera to then take a shot, which I'm assuming it was probably like a long exposure in the canyon. But I think we've lost George.
Oh,
Oh,
No,
there he is.
yep.
Okay, yeah.
So,
So, but yeah, it's like, your classic canyon.
mhm.
Um, but here, let me see if I can pull up a couple of photos here.
Yeah,
Show
if
you
you
guys.
share them, then I can share them here with everybody. That'd be fantastic. I'm looking forward to this.
It was very like insane to see though. Um, like some of the coolest stuff I think I've ever seen. And then I didn't realize that you were allowed like a full-on camera down there because I know there's like a lot of restrictions on some stuff on different tours. So I just brought my little like pocket-sized camera that I have,
Yeah.
little Canon one, but I think it did the job pretty good. So sorry, I'm just
Okay.
gonna
Just
get a couple
share
more
that
here. I'm
and we'll post it.
just saving them.
Yeah.
Uh, sorry. Okay, I think this will be good for to get an idea of the canyon. And just like the orange of the sandstone, and it was crazy. But okay. Let's let's do this. Open up this. And then so I'm gonna share. Okay. So does that work? Is that
Well, that's the thumbnails now.
so you can see
Yeah,
you
just
can
the
see like
thumbnails.
the folder?
Yeah, the folder.
Okay. Can you see
Thumb.
those photos? Is that
Well, I can't. No, you're going to have
okay?
to open them up full size
Okay, okay, okay.
on your
So
desktop.
open them all up. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me open these all up and then
Yeah.
um I'll go back to it. So um okay, I think they're all in here. So let me make sure they are. Okay. Let's go back to Zoom. Sorry. Here we go. Okay, share. Okay, is that
All right. That's what we're looking at here. Hang on. Let me
okay?
just share that with everybody. And here we go.
it's like a sculpture.
Yeah, it's very very crazy. And they talked about like a couple times um like there's a couple times every couple years where they get like crazy flooding where it like fills up this canyon and it's just like but
So when they get the flooding, is there erosion? Like, does it always carve new faces?
you know what? I think so. I think that's what she mentioned. So there's like yeah, it's always ever changing. Every
Yeah.
time there's like the natural thing, you know what I mean? So
Huh. Wow. That's cool.
Mm.
and
Yeah.
then there's different yeah, like I think I put one in here. But yeah, that's like this is the path you walk along.
That is really cool.
Which
just for scale, did you get any shots with a person in it?
I don't know if I have any. There might be one on the. If not, I can always
Yeah.
pull one up and then. But I want to say we were probably like 80 feet under the ground.
Oh yeah.
So it was pretty deep drop. But this particular photo, I don't know if it was a more of a wider composition, was like sold to the Bellagio in Vegas
Yeah.
for like millions of dollars. And she was talking about like how you can like take the same shot. And she showed me the composition and everything, our tour
Huh.
guide.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
But it,
amazing
it it was,
colors.
I think it's called the Arizona Mountains, is what the print is called.
Mm.
Yeah.
That was sold to the Bellagio. I don't know if you search that up online, you might be able to find Arizona Mountain um, Bellagio print. Yeah, and anyway, she was told I can't find it, but she was telling us a story about
Yeah.
one of the hotels getting like a print like this. Um, yeah, here's some people so you can kind of
Oh
see
yeah. Okay, that's
Yeah,
great.
that's
like
deep.
that, and then there's the sky to
Mm.
to kind of get an idea there.
So, because of the closeness of the walls and the narrowness of the opening above you, uh, I would imagine that there isn't very long in the day where the sun actually shines down in there.
Yes, so they said like the best times to go is 12 o'clock, like peak
Yep.
is like the when the sun's at the highest and it like really shines down into the canyon and everything's lit up very nice.
Yeah.
But all the times are sold out for 12 o'clock on these tours.
Mm.
Yeah, I
And it's
imagine.
like it was already like 20 of us on a tour down there. And it's pretty tight. And like if you're at the back of a 20-person tour, you're just gonna get people in your shots the entire time. So I was pretty lucky enough to like kind of get to the front and weasel my
Yeah.
way around. But yeah, so here's a
Good.
couple more shots. There's that.
Yeah, one of the
Uh,
things you see sometimes is that people will take models and shoot them in this area or a very similar area.
there's
Uh,
that too.
Yeah, that's a
oh,
cool
what?
one. That's really
Yeah,
good.
that's
Which is just
beautiful.
it's just like it's every photographer's like dream to just shoot something that's so
Mm.
crazy looking.
Yeah,
Mm.
Like
I
I,
mean
I
these
was
are
in there just like snapping a million photos, and these aren't even on my like really good camera. So
well, still it's not bad. And almost every one of these are frameable print.
yeah, and like I've got like hundreds of photos from this area, which is I'm still working through, but this is a couple of the selects that you know I kind of liked. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. I'm sure. So maybe sometime in the future, when you have all of the photographs together from beginning of the
Oh
trip
yeah,
to end,
from the full trip, I would love to show you guys all them.
yeah.
There's
Well,
even some
that's
like fun ones, but yeah,
yeah. Now that's you can see that the sun is coming at a bit of an angle there, but still
yeah,
it's really lighting up the walls, isn't it? It just bounces
mhm.
around, I suppose.
And then yeah, it is nice. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
love to go there at 12 o'clock and shoot. And then there's also two other tours, which is like an Antelope Canyon X tour.
yeah.
And then there's also the upper Antelope Canyon. which we did the lower Antelope Canyon. So there's like different types of compositions as well on the upper.
I would imagine. So, just out of curiosity, how much are these tours?
It came out to 117 Canadian,
Mm.
which I mean, it is a lot. I think the upper Antelope Canyon tour is um like 250 or something Canadian,
Wow. Yeah.
but it's just like I mean, it's the only thing to really do in that area.
So
Mm.
So we
they
we,
have
we
to
pretty
make.
much went there for that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and
It,
then
So how
it's
yeah, how far
it's
out
a
of
big sorry.
how far out of
It's a
Vegas
big
is this?
experience. Mm. Yeah, just the experience of being there, I think it's worth the money.
yes.
Yeah.
And then also it's Page is a 4.5 hour drive from Vegas.
Okay, that's what I wanted to
So,
know.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a
so
fair drive.
altogether, I did about 8 hours of driving in Arizona. And
Okay.
it's like so like Arizona, Utah, and Nevada. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Cool.
Did you
And
go to
then there's also sorry,
Salt
no,
Lake
we
City?
did not go to Salt Lake. No,
Okay.
no. It was a little bit out of the way for
Yeah.
where we were trying to go. And we were also like where our kind of like cabin was situated was in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
So we're like, we just want to get there before the sun sets. So
Yeah.
we're not driving in the middle of the desert in the dark where there's no lights, no service. Like, but I'm just gonna grab a couple more of this other
Okay.
place we went to,
Yeah.
and I'll show you some of them. There's a place there, it's called there's a place called The Wave, which you gotta win like a lottery for.
Oh, really?
So there's like a lottery permit that are given out every year for this place called The Wave, but there's a couple other places within Phoenix, or sorry, within Page that look very similar. So there's a couple kind of like knockoffs of The Wave, I would say. But give me 2 seconds here. Here's one of them. This would be a really good spot to also like take a model and photograph a model there, just because it's like crazy looking. And then
I can even see a photograph of a guy dressed up as Indiana Jones.
yes, that would be a good one too. And then here's okay. I'm gonna share these right now.
Okay.
Um, I'm just waiting for that last one to load. Okay, I will open. Okay, share, share. Okay. So
Oh,
this is like a big wave
mm,
formation.
Yeah.
It's almost like as you can see here's the cave part.
Wow.
So this is inside the cave looking out, and then if you stand to the side, if you can kind of see the
Huh.
so. And then the other place we went to was called Horseshoe Bend,
mm.
which is this famous like this rock, and then it has the water going around.
So is that a lake?
Yes. I'm not sure it might be. I think it's part of
A river?
um here's let me double check here. It is the Horseshoe Bend. Where's the thing?
So was this part of a tour as well?
Sorry, so it's called the Strawberry River that wraps around it.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, that's not it. Shoe Bend, Arizona. Sorry. Okay, so it's the Colorado River. That
Okay.
is the yeah, that wraps
So it's a
around it.
river that goes around that rock.
Yeah. And then so this is like it's your own, it's like a big platform. There's like hundreds of people there. And
That's great.
it's not part of a tour. You pay like $10 for your car to go in park. And
Yeah.
then but there's a little platform and then the rest of it's open.
Yeah.
And there's people like right against the edge of the ledge. And this is like a 500-foot drop. And like I don't know, it was making me nervous, so we just went there, took a couple photos and left. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I bet it would.
but
I mean,
yeah. And then this was it with the sun a little bit more set.
that's beautiful. Yeah. What a
But
difference between the two.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then yeah. So
Oh, they're great
yeah,
images.
it's very cool. Of
Great images. Thank you. And
course.
looks like Lisa Marie agrees with me that they're great images, or I agree with her actually.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was fun. It was nice. So I'm glad I took my camera. Took a
Okay,
pretty universal lens. So
yeah, so you took your other camera uh, to the other place, whereas you didn't take
yeah,
the.
so the Horseshoe Bend was like the Canon R6.
Yeah,
And then in the little Antelope Canyon was like this small little pocket camera I have. I'll show you. Kind of funny.
that's great. I always like to see photographs that people take on their various trips. Super to see. But that's I've always said this in the class. What's the best camera? It's the one you have in your hands at the
Yeah,
time.
Mm.
So yeah,
I can definitely agree with that. And honestly, it doesn't matter the camera that you brought. It's if you know how to use it, right? So,
well, yeah, and sometimes taking a larger camera in certain situations is just too cumbersome.
so like
Even
this
if
was
it,
the
oh yeah,
little guy,
yeah, no, perfectly good camera. How many
and then this
megapixel
was
is
the.
that? Yeah, how
So
many mega?
it's a 24 megapixel crop sensor camera.
Yeah,
So
well, still, yeah, that's not bad. 24
Yeah, good
megapixels.
pictures.
Yeah, it
Mm.
does.
yeah, but not like the greatest dynamic range. So that's just the only
No,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
Where
So
where I could have
what?
like with the R6, I could have really brought down the exposure and then brought up the shadows and got that blue sky with the more of the lit up wall.
Yeah.
Would have been a
So
little nicer, but
I'm just thinking about the that little camera. Will it shoot RAW, or did you shoot RAW with it?
oh yeah, yeah, it shoots raw for sure.
Yeah. So that
So
increases the dynamic range a little bit.
I had quite enough room to work with, but I was just
Okay.
beating myself up when I seen like somebody else there with like a big ass R5, and I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
I'm like, so I could have brought my good camera, nice, okay,
Next
but
time.
yeah, I want to do the upper next time because
Yeah.
there's some very cool photos from that.
Yeah. So long as you don't have a family of five, it'd be expensive.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, again, thank you very much. Thanks, Andrew,
Yeah,
for
yeah, they
sharing
were
that with
good.
us. That's fantastic. I love it.
Of course.
So again, if you happen to be on YouTube, let me know who you are and where you're from, please. And don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe. That's over here somewhere. Anyway, yeah, that's great. Do you have anything, David, at all to share tonight?
I Yeah, I got some compared to these ones, no, pretty awful ones. I put together the London Eye, um,
Okay.
which I can show you, which is
Yeah.
when it. The problem was it was film and I digitized them, but they didn't come out too good. Just bear with me a minute. Oh,
It'll take me a minute to get this set up for you.
share.
Oh wow.
Okay.
What you can see. So it was originally it was built in 1999 and to open on December the 31st. It was originally called the Millennium Bridge Wheel, um, and it was supposed to be temporary for a couple of years, but it proved so popular that they've kept it, and it's still going strong now. Can
Yeah,
you see
that's
that one?
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, right. Now, it was originally uh, floated down the Thames in four pieces and then put together, but it was still horizontal on the Thames before they jacked it up. Uh,
Did you
this
go?
is,
Did you get a chance to go up on that?
oh yeah, I've been on it about three or four times.
Did you
So
take any
it's
shots from up there?
yeah, I've got some of those. Again, not very good ones, but it was quite a feat. I was fortunate. I was working just down the road, and so I was up in London like once a week and taking these. So,
Huh.
so they finally got it up, and then it's then our friend Greenpeace decided to climb up and stay up there for about a week.
Oh, I
God knows how they
remember
got up
that.
there.
I remember that in the
Yeah,
news.
yeah. Well, you look at how high that is. That is just crazy. And this guy is just in like a sleeping bag, just
Yeah.
hanging off there. So that delayed it a little bit, and then they started putting the pods on. I think there's 32 pods on it. Each pod will hold 25 people,
Whew.
and it's constantly on the move. When you get on it, it's still moving, so you've got to get on it pretty quick, and it takes 30 minutes to do a full circle. So if
That's a
you're
long
slow,
time.
you get stuck on it. It's just and they had to put the pods opposite to balance it out. So it was took quite a while to get those on. So this is
Oh,
people up there. It's well, it's virtual glass, so you have a fantastic view of London. Um, this is the House of Parliament. You got Big Ben there. Um, So they say that on a clear day you can actually see Windsor, which is about just over 30 miles away.
well, I bet
But,
you
Wow.
can.
but- oh, and so that's similar shot taken at night. Again, this was all filmed, so they didn't really come out too well. My photographic skills were not great when I took these, and so that's oh, when it was basically up and running. As you see, you can see Big Ben in the background.
So, just out of curiosity, I mean, you know, uh, are some people, you think they're nervous when they go up that high in that pod
Um,
that's all glass?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird sensation. It doesn't bother me, but I know it did bother some people.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
but
pretty freaky.
Yeah.
yeah, but the
I
pod is actually moving as to keep it. horizontal as you're going around. So there's quite a lot of mechanics involved on that.
I've also been on it once
Yeah,
when I was like 12.
yeah.
Yeah.
But as I say, it's brought in a fortune for
Oh yeah.
tourism, and as I say, it's still going strong. So
So
it's
now I do have this a similar question that I asked Andrew is how much does it cost to get on this thing?
oh, I think it's around £25, so it'll be about $50.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I could be
Well, it's
wrong.
worth
But
it.
yeah, oh yeah. As I say, at night time, it like it's all blue, lights up
Yeah.
in blue. And
It's currently 40 pounds to go
oh, is
on.
it £40?
Yeah,
Oh
40
wow,
pounds. Yeah.
Okay.
gone up a bit since I was there.
No kidding. Yeah. $80 roughly, eh?
Yeah.
Still, it's a lot ride of a lifetime.
Oh, but for the experience,
Yeah,
it,
it's
it's worth
definitely
it.
definitely worth it.
And you see London from a totally different perspective, which is good.
Now, the interesting thing is, and I don't know whether it's the way I'm looking at it, but the inverted V that goes to the center, is
Hmm.
that just on one side? It's only on one side?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's
Um,
weird.
yeah, if you go back to this one, you can see
Yeah.
it's
Oh yeah.
because everyone was going, "Oh my God, is that going to stay up?"
Yeah,
Because of the
I
weight
know.
of it
I
and the
think isn't it gonna
counterbalance.
fall over?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of people worried about it. Will it work or just spin off and roll down the Thames?
Uh,
All these people
well,
who little capsules all floating around. But yeah, so yeah, it takes it's quite a feat of engineering actually.
yeah. They've never had it stuck or stopped.
Not what I know of, no.
Okay.
No, yeah, they do the regular maintenance on it, so it's
Yeah. Yeah.
but no,
Oh well, I'm
it's
sure they have to.
yeah. And
Well,
as I
that's
say, it
great.
wasn't designed to last this long, so it obviously was pretty well built to start with.
Okay. So just remind me, when was this originally built?
Um, I'll put it. It was its construction started in 1998 and it
Oh,
opened
okay.
on December 31st because it was late at night. So it started basically when it was millennium, year
So
2000.
that thing's almost 30 years old.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, from construction
So
start to
it's
today.
more than paid for itself. It was everyone
Yeah.
complained about the cost, etc. But yeah,
Beautiful. Well, David, thank you very much for showing us that. That is
well, that's okay.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it was just lucky of being there at the time.
yeah. Well, you see, you learn something every night. I've learned something from Andrew, and that's a place I'd like to visit. Is that
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
uh,
Yeah,
what do they call it?
Antelope Canyon.
Antelope
Antelope
Canyon.
Canyon.
I
And
will say it
yeah,
is so much more worth like flying to somewhere and driving everywhere if you can
yeah.
do that.
Hmm.
Like if you can budget to like do the rental car and drive to different places and see everything. It's
Well, of course. Yeah,
I'm like us driving from Vegas to Phoenix. Like I've seen like hundreds of different landmarks that I would have never seen just flying into Phoenix
yeah,
or
yeah. Exactly.
and
Well,
that's
when I was
like
yeah.
we're gonna try to do like a yearly trip now. So
Hmm.
How many of you
I
went? Two
think
of you?
there was four of us there.
Four. Okay.
So but I think we're gonna go to Maine next. So do like Cape Cod and that
Yeah.
whole thing. So
Super. Now,
but
do you plan on selling any images?
I've not gone that far yet into
Okay. Okay. No, just curious. Hey, you could pay for your trip.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll throw some up on there and see if anybody's interested, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that you could do is let's see. There are magazines, travel magazines in Canada, and if you look at the travel magazines, they're not necessarily all about Canada. They're travel anywhere in the world, really.
okay.
And if you write a little article with maybe two or three images and talk about your experience there a little bit, and even the cost, or what things you should avoid, don't get into this line or that line or whatever, uh, magazines will buy that stuff because they need to fill up their pages.
Mm.
And sometimes a lot of these magazines are kind of wondering, what the heck are we going to put in here? Because we need to put something in, and we can't put in
Yeah.
an older story. So they and you come along and you say, hey, this is an experience I had. Here's some photographs. Here's and they'll say, well, how much do you want for this? And they'll say, well, whatever it's worth to you, and they'll pay you for it. And if you
It's not a
keep
bad
doing
idea.
that, you can pay for your trips, man. You can.
Because
Mm.
I got a couple spots in Arizona that we went to, so
Yeah.
maybe I could write a couple different articles on them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They're always waiting to find out how much did it cost? How hard was it to get there? Was it congenial? Was it easy? Or, was parking a problem? That kind of thing. They always want to have a little bit of information like that, and they'll take it. So
Because
I
even
think,
that one of like the wall looking thing where it was like
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah. The
like
wave,
that's free. Yeah,
yeah,
that's very free. That's free to the public. It's
yeah.
behind like a Shell gas station. You just park there and
Yeah.
walk to it.
That's
And it's just
amazing.
like there's certain times where you can go where it's not busy. And
Ah,
like we went a little bit before sunset, so everybody was having dinner. So that's when we kind of went,
yeah.
and it wasn't busy at all. So
Well, I know that Lisa Marie, have you had some of your material published? I think you mentioned that you've had some of your images published.
yes, actually,
Um,
Lisa would be a good person to ask. That's who I should message. Yes.
okay. Anyway, it's getting on to 8 o'clock now, and we're right on time for quitting time. So, what I'm just going to do here for a second, I was hoping Lisa Marie might get back to us in a comment in the chat about that, but maybe not. Let's see. I'm just going to switch. Ooh, that was a nice switch. I just switched cameras, not cameras, but frames. Um, okay, so what I would like from everybody who's here is obviously if you could, you know, give me a like, that would be appreciated. And if you could subscribe, that would be appreciated. And of course, now I've got Lisa here. So she's saying yes in, is that Kangeo or Canadian Geography? Kangeo. And they might be interested in other destinations besides Canada. Who knows? I don't know. So Lisa Marie has had some experience in sending stuff. And Lisa Marie, do you not only send the photographs, do you write a little article about what you're looking at? Do you do that for them too? Now I know that YouTube is like delayed by 10 seconds. So when I say
Mm.
something, Lisa Marie won't hear it for 10 seconds. So um, I think that she's going to be getting it just about now. And she'll be then typing a little thing in chat answering me. Okay, and I'll go back to this one. Ta-da! So please give us a like and subscribe. Appreciate it. And we're here every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. Um, you're anybody's welcome, photographers, whether you're professional or whether you're a student or ex-student. You're always welcome. And there we go. Lisa Marie is saying, oh, why isn't it coming up? Let's see. Let's go back here. And there we go. Yes, a tiny little blurb. That's all. Sometimes that's all they require. A couple of paragraphs describing what they're looking at and your experience, especially if you've done some traveling and that's the way that that's where you took the photographs, and obviously a little talk about it, a little blurb about it. So I'm going to say good night to everybody. Lisa Marie, Andrew, David, thank you for coming in, and whoever else is on YouTube, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. It's always nice if you leave a like or a comment. That's great. So, Andrew, good night. David, good night. See you
Yeah,
next
good night.
week.
Thank you, George. See you,
Okay,
Andrew.
thank you.
See you next
Lisa
week.
Marie, yeah? Okay, good night. And Lisa Marie, good
Good
night
night.
to you too.